Imagine this. You're scrolling through Instagram right now. You see Dubai, the Burj Khalifa piercing the clouds, gold-plated supercars, luxury yachts floating in crystal blue waters, influencers living their absolute best life, posting about paradise on earth. But just 10 miles away from those glittering towers, there's a villa. From the outside, it looks like any other wealthy home in Dubai. Pristine white walls, palm trees swaying in the desert breeze, a Mercedes parked in the driveway. Inside that villa, a 24-year-old woman is locked in a small room. She hasn't been outside for 3 years. She works 18 hours a day. No pay, no days off, no phone calls home. When she's too slow, they beat her. When she cries, they lock her in a closet with no light, no water. Her name is Maria Santos, and she's not alone. Right now, in 2024, over 250,000 women are trapped in similar situations across Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. While influencers post, "Dubai is paradise," these women are living in hell. This is Maria's story, and she's one of the lucky ones who escaped. The promise. Let me take you back to 2019. Manila, Philippines. Maria Santos lived in a small apartment with her mother, her 2 younger sisters, and her grandmother. Her father had died when she was 16. As the oldest daughter, Maria became the breadwinner. She worked at a local restaurant, making barely enough to feed her family. They were drowning in debt. Medical bills from her grandmother's diabetes treatment were piling up. Her sisters needed to stay in school. Every night, Maria went to bed worrying about money. Then one day, she saw an advertisement. A recruitment agency was hiring housemaids for Dubai. The poster showed a smiling Filipina woman standing in front of the Burj Khalifa. The text promised, "Good salary, good accommodation, good family. Send money home. Change your life." The salary was $400 per month. To Maria, this was a fortune. More than triple what she made at the restaurant. She could send money home every month. Everyone signs the same contract. Maria's mother was worried. She had heard stories, rumors, whispers about housemaids who went to the Middle East and were never heard from again. But Maria was determined. This was their chance, their only chance. In September 2019, Maria boarded a plane to Dubai. She had never flown before. She had never left the Philippines before. As the plane took off, she pressed her face against the window, watching Manila disappear beneath the clouds. She whispered a prayer. She promised herself she would make this work for her family. The trap. Dubai International Airport was overwhelming, massive, gleaming, filled with people from every corner of the world. Maria walked through the terminal, clutching her small suitcase, her heart pounding with excitement and nervousness. She had been told that her employer would meet her at the airport. She looked around, searching for a sign with her name. Then she saw him, a man in his 50s, wearing traditional Emirati dress, a white kandura, and a red checkered gutra. He was holding a placard that read, "Maria Santos." "Hello, hello," he said, smiling widely. "Welcome to Dubai. I am Mr. Ahmed. Come, come. My wife is waiting at home. She is so excited to meet you." Maria felt relieved. He seemed kind, friendly. But then Mr. Ahmed extended his hand. "Your passport, please, and your phone. We need to keep them safe for you. Dubai is a big city, many thieves. We will keep your documents secure." Maria hesitated. The recruiter had warned her about this. "Never give your passport to anyone," she had said. But now, standing in this foreign airport, exhausted from the flight, facing her new employer who was smiling at her expectantly, Maria didn't know what to do. "It's okay," Mr. Ahmed said, his smile never fading. "This is normal in Dubai. All housemaids give passport to employer, for safety. Don't worry." Maria handed over her passport, then her phone. She didn't know it yet, but she had just become a prisoner. The reality. The villa was in a wealthy neighborhood. High walls, security cameras, electronic gates. From the outside, it looked like a palace. Inside, it would become Maria's prison. Mrs. Fatima, Ahmed's wife, was waiting at the door. She was wearing an abaya and a designer handbag that probably cost more than Maria's entire family earned in a year. She looked Maria up and down, her expression cold and calculating. "She's small," Mrs. Fatima said to her husband in Arabic, as if Maria couldn't hear her. "I hope she can work hard." Maria was shown to her room. It was a storage closet. No window, a thin mattress on the floor, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. The walls were concrete. The air was stifling. "You start work tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., Mrs. Fatima said. "I'll wake you." Maria didn't sleep that night. The jet lag was brutal. The room was suffocatingly hot. She could hear cockroaches skittering across the floor in the darkness. She tried to tell herself it would be okay. This was just temporary, just for a few years, then she could go home. But when morning came, reality hit her like a sledgehammer. Mrs. Fatima woke her at 4:30 a.m. by banging on the door. "Get up! We have guests coming tonight. The house must be perfect." For the next 18 hours, Maria worked non-stop, mopping floors, scrubbing bathrooms, washing dishes, doing laundry by hand, preparing meals for the family, cleaning up after the children, ironing clothes. The villa had 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, a massive living room, a formal dining room, and a kitchen that was bigger than Maria's entire apartment back home. Every surface had to be spotless. Every corner had to be dusted. Every piece of silver had to shine. Mrs. Fatima followed her around, criticizing everything. "Too slow, not clean enough, do it again. Are you stupid? In the Philippines, do you not know how to clean?" When Maria finally finished at 11 p.m., she collapsed on her mattress. Her hands were raw from chemicals. Her back ached. Her feet were bleeding. She hadn't eaten all day except for some leftover rice she had managed to grab between tasks. This became her life. Every single day. Wake at 4:30 a.m., work until 11 p.m., sometimes midnight, sometimes later. No breaks, no days off, no pay. Wait, no pay? When the first month ended, Maria gathered her courage and approached Mrs. Fatima. "Excuse me, ma'am. It's been 1 month. The agency said I would receive my salary of $400 per month." Mrs. Fatima looked at her with contempt. "Salary? You think you deserve salary? Look at all the food you eat. Look at the room we give you. That costs money. You need to work for 6 months first, to pay back your recruitment fees. After that, maybe we pay you." Maria felt her work. When it was over, he threw 50 dirhams on the floor, about $14, and left without a word. Maria sat on her mattress in the darkness, shaking. She couldn't scream. If Mrs. Fatima found out, she would blame Maria, call her a whore, make her life even worse. This happened again, and again, and again. Maria tried to fight back once. She pushed Mr. Ahmed away, told him to stop. He punched her in the stomach so hard she couldn't breathe. Then he called Mrs. Fatima into the room. "Look at this girl," he said, his voice dripping with false indignation. "She tried to seduce me. She's a prostitute. We should send her back to Manila in disgrace." Mrs. Fatima looked at Maria with pure hatred. "You disgusting whore! How dare you disrespect our family? Tomorrow you don't eat, and you work until dawn." Maria learned to stay silent, to endure. The beatings became routine. If the floor wasn't clean enough, Mrs. Fatima would slap her. If dinner wasn't ready on time, she would hit Maria with a wooden spoon. Once, when Maria accidentally broke a plate, Mrs. Fatima made her kneel on rice for 3 hours as punishment. The children, 2 spoiled teenagers, treated Maria like she was invisible, or worse, like she was their personal servant to abuse. They would deliberately make messes, then laughing as Maria cleaned up. They would throw their trash at her, call her the dirty Filipina. Maria wrote letters to her family in her mind, letters she could never send. "Dear Mama, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought I could save us, but I'm trapped, and I don't know how to escape." The turning point. 2 years passed, then 3. Maria had become a ghost, thin, hollow-eyed, moving through the villa like a shadow, doing her work mechanically, feeling nothing. She had stopped hoping. Hope was too painful. But in early 2022, something changed. The family hired a new gardener, a man from India named Raj. For the first time in 3 years, Maria felt something she thought she'd lost forever: hope. But she was also terrified. What if this was a trap? What if Raj told Mr. Ahmed? What if they punished her even more severely? She decided to wait, to watch, to see if she could trust him. A week later, Raj approached her again. "My cousin works at the Philippine consulate," he said. "If you want, I can get a message to them. They help people like you." Maria's heart was racing. This was her chance, maybe her only chance. "Please," she whispered, "please help me." The plan took weeks to arrange. Raj couldn't just call the consulate directly. Phone calls could be traced, monitored. Instead, he had to go in person on his 1 day off per month. He had to explain Maria's situation, provide evidence, convince them to help. Meanwhile, Maria had to continue her work as if nothing had changed. She couldn't show any sign of hope or rebellion. Mrs. Fatima was suspicious by nature. Any change in Maria's behavior would raise alarms. Finally, in March 2022, Raj whispered to her, "They're coming." Next Thursday, when the family goes out for dinner. Thursday came. Maria's hands were shaking all day. She scrubbed floors, washed dishes, prepared meals, all while her mind was racing. What if the family didn't go out? What if they changed their plans? What if the consulate didn't come? What if Mr. Ahmed caught her trying to escape? But at 7 p.m., the family got dressed for dinner. Mr. Ahmed was taking clients to an expensive restaurant. It was a business dinner. They would be gone for hours. Mrs. Fatima looked at Maria. "We'll be back at 11. The house better be spotless. And don't even think about leaving. The gates are locked. The cameras are watching." The family left. The house fell silent. Maria went to the second-floor balcony, a place she was forbidden to go, but she didn't care anymore. She looked out at the street, waiting, praying. At 8 p.m. she saw them. 2 cars, one from the Philippine consulate, one from the Dubai police. Maria did something she never thought she'd have the courage to do. She started screaming, "Help! Help me! I'm locked inside! Please help me!" She screamed until her throat was raw. Neighbors came out of their houses, looking up at her in shock. The consulate officials rushed to the gate. The police forced it open. Within minutes, they were inside the villa. Maria collapsed in the arms of a Filipina consulate worker, sobbing uncontrollably. "You're safe now," the woman whispered. "You're safe. We're taking you home." The aftermath. Maria spent 2 weeks at the Philippine consulate recovering. They gave her medical care, counseling, a safe place to sleep. They helped her file reports against Mr. Ahmed and Mrs. Fatima. The case made headlines in the Philippines. Filipina housemaid rescued after 3 years of captivity in Dubai. Maria's face was on the news. Her story was everywhere. But here's the tragic reality. Mr. Ahmed and Mrs. Fatima were never prosecuted. They claim Maria was a troubled employee who had stolen from them and was making false accusations. The Dubai legal system, heavily biased in favor of Emiratis over foreign workers, dismissed the case. This is the reality of the Kafala system, the sponsorship system used in many Gulf countries. Under Kafala, a worker's visa is tied to their employer. The employer holds the worker's passport. The employer has almost complete control. If a worker complains or tries to escape, they can be arrested for absconding and deported. It's modern-day slavery, and it's legal. Maria returned to Manila in April 2022. Her family was overjoyed to see her alive, but horrified by what she had endured. Maria was different. The bright, hopeful 24-year-old who had left in 2019 was gone. In her place was a traumatized 27-year-old who woke up screaming from nightmares, who flinched when anyone raised their voice, who couldn't trust anyone. But Maria did something remarkable. Instead of hiding, instead of trying to forget, she became an activist. She joined an organization called Sandigan, which helps exploited overseas Filipino workers. She started speaking at rallies, at schools, at government hearings. She told her story over and over, even though it was painful, because she wanted people to know the truth. "There are 250,000 women still trapped like I was," Maria said in a 2023 interview. "Right now, as we speak, they're locked in houses in Dubai, in Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait. They're being beaten, they're being raped, they're being starved, and the world doesn't care because they're poor, because they're brown, because they're women." We see Instagram posts about Dubai being paradise, influencers showing off luxury cars and fancy hotels. But just a few miles away from those hotels, women are dying. Some commit suicide. Some are murdered by their employers, and it's covered up. In 2019, a Kenyan housemaid in Saudi Arabia filmed herself being beaten by her employer and managed to send the video to her family before her employer confiscated her phone. The video went viral. The Saudi government promised to investigate. Nothing happened. In 2021, a Bangladeshi housemaid in Kuwait was found dead, her body covered in bruises and burns. The employer claimed she fell down the stairs. The police closed the case within days. These women are invisible. They work in private homes, behind closed doors, where labor inspectors never visit. They have no unions to protect them, no advocates to speak for them. Their embassies often don't care or are too overwhelmed to help. And the recruitment agencies? They're complicit. They take huge fees from these desperate women, sometimes an entire year's salary, and deliver them into situations where they have no rights, no protection, no escape. The irony is devastating. Dubai markets itself as a global city, a place of tolerance and progress. The UAE government promotes women's rights and human rights in their international PR campaigns. But the glittering skyscrapers, the artificial islands, the gold-plated luxury, all of it was built on the backs of exploited migrant workers. The construction workers who died building the Burj Khalifa, the housemaids who maintain the homes of the wealthy, the laborers who work in 120-degree heat for poverty wages. This is the dark side of Dubai that no Instagram influencer will ever show you. What can be done? Maria's activism has focused on three key demands. First, ban the Kafala system. Workers should not be tied to their employers. They should have the freedom to change jobs, to leave abusive situations, to hold their own passports. Second, enforce labor laws in private homes. Domestic workers should have the same protections as other workers. Maximum working hours, days off, minimum wage, and the right to report abuse without fear of deportation. Third, hold employers and recruitment agencies accountable. Real criminal penalties for abuse, real oversight of the recruitment industry, real consequences for those who exploit vulnerable workers. Some countries are making progress, but enforcement is weak, and the abuse continues. International pressure helps. When stories like Maria's go viral, when consumers demand change, when governments threaten economic consequences, things can improve. But it requires all of us to care, to look beyond the Instagram facade of Dubai, to ask uncomfortable questions, to demand justice for the invisible women who make the luxury lifestyles of the wealthy possible. Maria today. When I spoke to Maria in late 2023, she was working at a cafe in Manila. She's earning less than she would have in Dubai, but she's free. She can see her family every day. She can sleep without fear. Sometimes people ask me if I regret going to Dubai, she said. The truth is, I don't know. If I hadn't gone, my sisters wouldn't have finished school. My grandmother wouldn't have gotten her medicine. We might have lost our apartment. The money I sent home before things got bad, it saved my family. But the price I paid was too high. No one should have to choose between poverty and slavery. That's not a choice, that's a trap. I want people to know that when they see those luxury posts from Dubai, when they see influencers living in fancy hotels, there's blood behind that gold. There are women suffering to maintain that image of perfection. And I want those women to know you are not alone. There are people fighting for you. Don't give up hope. I got out. You can too. The question we must ask. So here's my question to you, the person reading this or watching this. What are you going to do with this information? Are you going to scroll past, feel sad for a moment and then forget about it? Are you going to continue liking those Dubai travel influencer posts without thinking about what happens behind the scenes? Or are you going to take action? Share Maria's story. Pressure your government to demand better labor protections in the Gulf states. Support organizations that help exploited workers. Speak up when you see injustice. Because right now, as you're reading these words, there's another Maria somewhere.